Um, yeah, just kind of how expectations change going into this off season. I feel like going into last off season, like nobody would expect, and now you guys were a playoff team. Does that make the goalposts at all for like what you're looking for from this organization next year, or like what's kind of problem?
Yeah, I think probably see this from a now too, but our mindset for ourselves is always how can we do better, right? It's not that we've accomplished anything or that there's just going we had a wonderful year one, very innovative 2026 for a very long time. Are finalizing our season ticket renewal with our incredible fans that came back at over 90%. But we are already working on our themes and moments to celebrate what our fans have really put together. But the goalposts, there's a lot out there with the memories of success that this team has had that matters. But we're not satisfied with that, right? For us, Peter Gruber puts it best. We think about it all the time, but this is the beginning of it, right? This isn't a movie premiere. This is a state that will be here forever and build legacy and to be a part of this great league. And so for us, we're constantly thinking of things we did well. We think we can be better. And the things that we haven't done yet too, and maybe we have some yet to think about that.
Hey, Jess, I'm just curious. Would you say flattering or frustrating that multiple of your front office staff have been poached by other expansion teams? That kind of says that what you guys have done is a success, but then it doesn't make it harder going into it too, trying to get new people.
I mean, from my seat, from the business seat, it doesn't. I think that, you're probably referencing Kimberly Deal for us, who is a great person coming from Warriors from 6 years, with background in the decades for 6 years before that. She helped us build and put together a really valuable team. And she made a decision that was best for herself. And we wish her all the best and continue to grow this league, which is really important. But it also allows us to take a look at what else we need going into year 2, 3, 4. So for us, it's about her necessarily us, I think, and what she's accomplished. And hiring will be a big piece of everybody's strategy moving into year 2 is expected, and that just adds a layer to that for sure.
Hey, Jess, earlier this year, Joe Bling talked about how, his expectations, can we feel the local at Chase Center? And then he was kind of surprised opening night that the whole stadium was packed out and it continued that way. How do you just kind of build on creating that fan base going into year 2? And are you surprised that the fan base kind of defaults so quickly?
I was not surprised that we were selling out Chase Center and the fan base came together. I knew that it did what we were capable of, but that's exactly what we got. I think that behind closed doors, that doesn't take away the work that you have to do to get there. You can have great ideas, you can have to invest in it, and then also work relentlessly to do that. And took the fans picking up your writing down or listening to them too, to make that happen. But if you were a part of my very first day at Golden State, and some people in I was announced for that press conference, we were set up at Chase Center, and I was at the Chase Club. Employees were there. There's a video that just says it's not okay to sell 10,000 tickets. We need to be selling more. And I think that's been the expectation because that's what these great athletes deserve, but that's also what their fan is. So for us, our organization began by listening to the fans. The Belgrade's name comes from the fact that it was out there because the fans voted on it. I think for us to continue to grow, we have to keep listening, right? We shouldn't be a small group of people in the room making decisions for the continual evolution of who the Belgrades are. We make sure that we are, I think everything we do on a game basis is to walk around, to talk to the fans in the different areas, understand why they're there. We have a floor seat holder that traveled up from Fresno almost every single game, right? Those stories matter, but I think it also helps us understand and guide the decisions that we're making internally about what they want us and what they want to see achieve.
In that similar vein, it seemed like a lot of events at the stadium, just sort of there were things that you guys had, but also added to the Blue Box chant. I think it was one of those things. How did how did these guys sort of manage taking things you prep for and also adapting to the fans?
Yeah, we have a really talented game management team, and we spent a lot of time on that getting into the season. The open video, really setting the tone. Valhalla being something that we wanted to build, but that you can't just build something and not expect that it needs to be cohesive between the environment that's in there. We learned a ton on that preseason game. We're testing some different things. And what we learned is basically everybody called that the fans were open to it, right? and also guiding it in their own way. Goal values came from our players. And I think that's what's really beautiful about it. All of us have watched me just as much as the fans. The relationship between player every single fan has unfolded this year. In fact, that they checked out what our players do pretty on camera, not necessarily in venue, and then made that a venue moment, I think is the best part about in-game entertainment is when all of that comes together at the right time. Just like the wave. We're not crossing the wave. Our fan bar. And it's fun, and I think that's what you find with Valhalla is that no matter what the energy is, the fans feel it, right? So the lulls that you may have waiting for a play to get called, other things, the party doesn't stop at all.
Just it was clear during as the singer the best that everyone coming in was just kind of like, wow, what's happening here? All the all the opposition. How important is it to create that environment, that winning culture, that kind of like, oh my gosh, destination, especially since it's coming up with the CBA and everything. Yeah, for us, what I shared with our roster and Natalie and the business team, it's our job to give the best of import advantage that you've ever seen. That was the brief in front of us to make sure that they walked through those doors. They knew that our fan base, how we curated this community, would be supporting them the way that you saw happen. So I think, when I have my Natalie think about that, I hear the players talk about that experience. I think that probably speaks best versus me kind of noting on it. But it's all important. It all fits together, and I think while we've built a Bay Area opportunity here in what we've created on our game days, I think it's also important to note that we have fans across the U.S. If you attended, do around the world with us, which we so appreciate it. There's Valkyries fans in every single market. We launched our brand at opening day of 2024, sold merchandise in 70 countries in all 50 states too. And I think that type of following for what we've created and people connecting to our brand can't be minimized. And I think the fact they're also connecting them players to our brand. And that's the way I think you saw that happen with our entire roster this year. I'm curious, just going off that, how important is it to keep that momentum in the off season? And what are your plans? I know you kind of alluded there at the beginning that you guys are planning some fan events or something.
Yes. We don't call it the off season. It's always, well, my husband were dating for, but the first year we were dating is working in baseball. So this is only busy season that's in this season. Then the season ended. I said, oh, this is my busy season. I need season. And then after 2 years, he just said, you're just lying to yourself. At least correct. Because we want to get everything so right and think about it intentionally, even laying that groundwork from candidly opening week. It's really when people are working on 2026. So the off-season for us will be filled with community appearances, the players are in market, making sure that we're bringing them, what they'd like to be seen, kind of run it through that moment. We now have our bestie in Biden, right? And she's going to be somebody that we have an opportunity to bring out as well. But you saw us for an entire year without a player really do the same things, and that's not going to come out when you're going to continue to grow. We now have, I think at the beginning of the season, we had around 50 full-time employees just on the business side, just for the Valkyries, not counting our shared service. We're hiring, we'll have close to 70 full-time employees here in Amsterdam at once. So showcasing the growth, but also showcasing for us the connection we want to keep making. One of the elements that I'm most proud of in Golden State in total is the rebrand to Golden State. While it seems subtle, I don't think you can take for granted the power that it shows to have Golden State Shop versus just Warriors Shop, Golden State Foundation versus just Warriors Foundation, but most importantly to me, the Golden State Sports Academy, that innovative where we had the most robust youth academy in the NBA. It's now branded for both of us. All the kids that participate get reversible jerseys for the Valkyries and Warriors. So the community work for us is just starting. And we've built some great relationships and people that have helped us along the way. But as we can continue to make an impact, both for those that can attend games and elsewhere, and we look forward to the fandom continuing to grow as well.
Jess, perhaps there's not much I can say about this, or you're not the right person to ask, but I'm curious, with all the merchandise success you've had and all the fan support, selling out 23 games, including the playoffs, does that increase the likelihood, or have you guys had conversations about an alternate uniform for next year, a third uniform, anything with a violet base?
Is it the tease that we're all waiting for? Well, I can't answer any specifics about what the uniforms will look like moving into next year. It's going to be important. I think one of the things you've seen us do is work with intention, but also really think about the history of women's sports here in the Bay Area. That's kind of all I'll say there. But we're really excited about what the uniforms and merchandise opportunities look like moving into 2026.
I do a little bit, and I know people went crazy from the hype video. I wanted to hear a little bit if you're able to share what drove that creative discussion and then kind of what you could bounce off of that for next year.
Yeah. As we walked through the vetting, and it was the same exercise as when we built developers for it, right? But when we walked through the lending job, walked through these stores, you're sitting in the bowl, what makes you know that we're in ball, right? And for us, we had to make the decision of how far into the bowl we would go. And we coupled that with having a brand new roster of players to play with, introducing Canada in the WNBA region for the first time for many times since their first WNBA experience, and really setting a definitive tone. This is ball. And we felt like our intro to AO is our best opportunity to do that. But how do we make it authentically Bay Area, right? So after that, then we were playing, and everyone's hyped on seeing that we can hear the drop of a too short and the dance team to come out, right? So for us, it's about always narrating those two things, making it reflective of the vibe of the entire area, which is innovative. It is where anything's possible. It feels magical in so many different ways. And that's what we wanted Ball Hall to feel like it to inspire the people next to us. And I think the feedback's been tremendous, but for us, a lot of that work will get done in the next number of months as we think through what are our uniforms for next year? What does 2026 look like? What is this next progression? We still have that chip on our shoulder. We are not satisfied with anything that they've already created. And I think our fans aren't either, right? They are getting recognized for the environment that they created. But how do we take them tomorrow and make it even more next year? I love our fans so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,